Correct. I'm unmuted now. Yeah. Sure.
Hello.
Okay. Hi. Hi. Hi, Dr. Vani. Hi, Jitesh.
Kem છો ઉમેશભાઈ?
Not bad at all. Kem cho?
મજામાં. Thank you.
Dr. Vani, you are on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Great, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Vani.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, and I've got Jitesh as well on at the moment.
Hello, Dr. Zain.
And then
Dr. G. Sorry.
we are now going to let everybody in, Doctor. So slowly, I think everybody is going to start joining. I'll do a quick intro.
Yeah.
And then I'll hand it over to you. So during the whole presentation, everybody will be on mute, apart from you and me. Okay?
Sure.
Great.
So for the time being, we're going to go on screen share. We'll have the background music going. We've only got 5 minutes to go now. We've got 185 people waiting.
Wow. Okay.
So good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, Kiran. Thank you.
And everybody's going to be unmuted. If there is any problem, I'm around, but Jitesh Bhai is there. He's hosting as well. So just drop him a quick on the chat, yeah?
Sure.
Okay. See you guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Vani.
Hi. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Kirit is not around. I think Kirit's gone. This is Jitesh.
Okay. Hello.
Jitesh, doctor, this is my wife, Rohini.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so now I'm going to let everybody in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Umesh Bhai.
Hello, Kencho.
Very interesting topic.
Yes.
Right, there you are. Day to day, useful as well. Yeah.
Hope I can meet the expectations.
I'm sure you will.
Where are you practicing, Dr. Srinivas?
I'm in Hyderabad.
Oh, wow, right. I graduated from Indore way back in 1968. To live in UK for more than 42 years and now retired 4 years.
Good.
I'm going to help out our Gujarati community in Brighton, if I can, by learning few of the hints today about nutrition and immunity. Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure. Okay. My husband keeps visiting Gujarat, like he works for Apollo Hospital. Music is soothing, actually.
It's very lovely. Yes.
Yes,
Really
yes. Very soothing.
Umesh bhai, we're ready to start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thank you. Right. I think we'll make a start. It's 12:15. As I said, we'll make a start exactly at 12:15.
Sure.
And the format really is going to be, we'll have, I'll do a quick intro. We'll then have Dr. Srinivas to do a presentation on nutrition and health and immunity. We'll then have some questions and answers. So a very warm welcome to everyone. Good afternoon, UK. Good evening, America. Sorry, good evening to India, and good morning to America's USA and Canada. Everyone will remain on mute throughout the presentation. If you have any questions for Dr. Srinivas, please type them on chat, and I will ask the doctor at the end. So today we have with us Dr. Vani Srinivas, who will be talking to us about nutrition and immunity. Dr. Vani has more than 15 years of experience in the healthcare industry. She qualified as a medical doctor in 2002, and has been practicing since then in various different healthcare establishments. Currently, she is pursuing her passion as being a clinical nutritionist and helping people lead a healthier life by simple changes to diet and lifestyle. Without taking more time, Dr. Vani, I'm going to hand it over to you to do the presentation. Thank you.
Hi. Namaste, everyone. How are you doing? Hope I'm clear.
Loud and clear.
So a very good morning. I guess it's very good afternoon to everyone over there. And first place, I would really like to thank Umesh ji for giving me this opportunity, which will help me to share my knowledge. I love to share my knowledge. I keep doing it on sharing a lot of posts about my nutrition or any other topic which I find it is interesting. It might be entertaining or educating to all the public. In whatever way I can, I would love to share my knowledge and my insights on social media. So before going into my presentation, I would like to ask you, I mean, I don't know if anyone can answer or not, but I would like to ask you, like, what comes into your mind when someone says about nutrition? Like, what comes into your mind on the first place? What comes into your mind, like, with the word nutrition? If anyone can answer.
Please put your answers on the chat. And Dr. Srinivas, you should be able to read on the chat what people are saying.
Yes. Food greens, healthy food, healthy eating, food, greens in our diet, eating healthy food, what foods to eat. Right. Foods and meals. Great. Food that supports the health of David was perfectly right. Balanced diet, right. Diabetic food, vitamins, yes, perfectly. Extracted benefits of what we eat. Good. Great. So let me tell you that nutrition in a simple way, what we can define is nutrition is giving the right nutrients for our body. I guess all of you might be knowing that, but our body, we see us as a single person, right? But let me tell you that we are not a single person. Our body is filled with millions of cells, and it is our duty to feed each and every cell in our body. So that's where we all are like unable to feed each and every cell with the right nutrition. We have to nourish each and every cell of our body with the right nutrients. When we see nutrition as food, we just think of our appetite, we think of our stomach, we think of our hunger, all these things. But very few people just think of the inner cells, the biochemistry, the biochemical reactions of our body. So it's very important to feed ourselves the right amount of nutrients. So that is called nutrition. Feeding ourselves with the right amount of nutrients in order for ourselves to function properly, so that each and every cell, which again forms each and every organs, like be it heart, liver, kidney, and all these organs have to function properly. That means we have to feed the correct nutrients, right? I hope all I'm clear at this moment. Yeah. So that is nutrition. So I mean, we all know what to eat and what not to eat. We have been taught by our ancestor, by our parents or grandparents. But why do you think that we need some teacher again to teach us what to eat and what not to eat? Why do you all, why do us need some teachings again to teach us what to eat and what not to eat? Where are we going wrong? Where is the mistake? If anyone can answer that. Because food and lifestyle are very simple things. It's taught to everyone while we have been growing up, from childhood, from a baby to child, during our teenage years. Our parents taught us know what to eat. Our grandparents taught us what to eat. Our society teaches us, our culture teaches us what to eat. The environment gives us the right food in the right season, what to eat, right? When you take your ancient times, like our grandparents, when we used to go to our grandparents' house during summer season, we used to eat a lot of seasonal fruits and all those things. We used to eat a lot of homemade food. That's it, right? So why do you guys think that we need someone to teach us such a simple subject at this moment? Like, not only we, everyone in the world, the whole world requires uh, a nutritionist or a dietitian to teach them. More than, along with the doctors, we do require nutritionists, we do require food chemists, food technologists to teach us what to eat, sadly, again, from the beginning. So we get lazy and we eat what's convenient. Yes, perfect. That is one reason. Yeah. Unfortunately, our taste buds rule. Yeah, true. We are more attracted. I can say the more we are becoming civilized and urbanized, along with the growth in the environment or the growth in the technology or whatever. The food processing has increased. The variety of foods around us have increased, right? There are a lot of options. There are a lot of fancy options. Eating frozen foods, yes. Social media, there are multiple options. People are experimenting with the available natural food, and they are converting into a variety, multiple and millions of fancy, tasty, colorful, delicious options. So we are getting more attracted to those colorful things, seeing the fanciful things, rather than thinking about the quality and how that particular food will nourish our each and every cell, right? We are more inclined to the our own negligence is a very good point. We cannot, yeah, that might be. Our diet is more Western diet now. Yeah, right. Yeah, the way we are getting attracted to the developed countries, yeah, that might be a strong reason. With as India being a developing country, we tend to look any person or any country, we tend to look up to someone, or to tend to look up to some country that is more above us, right? Similarly, we started looking up to all the Western countries for our growth, or for our improvement of our technology, of our lifestyle, and all those things. In that same process, by growing our what do you say, intellectual knowledge and everything, we have even learned their food habits, and slowly we are actually making them our staple diet, which actually, our genetic capacity, our genetic wiring is not tuned in that manner, I can say, to Western. Once a while is okay, following that Westernized diet, but again, sticking to our staple diet is very important in order to maintain a perfect health. And one more thing, there are many people who stick to a staple diet, who follow a strict Indian diet. Only once a while, occasionally people go for westernized diets or processed food, but still many are suffering from diabetes, many are suffering from arthritis, overweight, thyroid issues and all these. So why do you guys think that even while following Indian foods, why do you guys think that we eat too much of sugar? Yeah. So what might be the reason, even if you're following a particular homemade Indian diet? Please get more technical. It's in everything. Yeah. Portion, lack of exercise, too much carbohydrates. Yeah. Okay, fine. So so now let's talk about nutrition and immunity. So I mean, the reason I didn't want to stress a lot about immunity is by the last 12 months or 13 months, we have been listening a lot about immunity, how to improve our immunity, how to increase our immunity, right? I hope I'm right, because with this COVID issue and everything, everywhere, be it on social media or on TV screens or everywhere, we all have been studying extensively and excessively, be a non-medical person or a medical person or a nutritionist or anyone. We all have been studying about nutrition and immunity. So that's the reason I didn't want to stress on that topic, immunity. But again, uh, immunity actually comes automatically. I mean, people who are actually healthy and fit and doesn't have any diabetes or arthritis or any other chronic diseases are actually highly immune. By this time we might have known that. So it's very important to suppress. I mean, immunity is just a byproduct. Like if you're fit and healthy and you don't have any chronic diseases, it's very automatic and it's very normal for us to be healthy, and for any viral diseases to attack us, we'll be away from any viral diseases that will attack us. So my main point to stress is, you guys should learn to eat healthy and stay fit. So the reason I asked why we are I mean, even though we have our Indian diet and we follow a staple homemade food, why we are still unhealthy and why we need a specialist to teach us? The reason is, um, we have been following our parents' diet or our grandparents' diet, right? Rice, dal, veggie, sabzi, and all those things. But again, the quantities and the portions are very important here. First place, the quantities and the portions, because our lifestyle and their lifestyle was quite different. They had a very active lifestyle, right? They had a good amount of physical activity those days. So they used to eat a lot of added oils. They used to eat a lot of homemade sweets. They used to eat a lot of ghee, but that was good for them, because those days they used to do everything physically. I mean, there were no mixers or grinders. There were no washing machines. They used to walk. So the physical activity and the amount of food they ate, the quality of food they ate was apt. But for us here in today's world, following a staple diet is one. Second, to concentrate on the proportions of your food, portions of your food, in comparison with the amount of physical activity you have. So if you're a sedentary person, it's very important to eat lesser amount of portions in each meal, but multiple times will help you, because the throughout the day, the physical activity that we tend to do is very less compared to the amount of food we are eating. Nutrition is nothing but, like, again, the amount of calories in and the amount of calories out. So we have to have a clear idea of what we are eating, how much we are eating, and how much we are burning on a day-to-day basis. It's not like we are burning once in a week or two days in a week or every hour in a day. So it's better, like, our body will stay in a perfect what do you say, that perfect structure when you when you can balance the physical activity and the amount of food you tend to eat. So I guess you guys got my point. First is staple diet, homemade food. Second is the portions of the food and the amount of physical activity has to be in balance. And the amount of physical activity, I'll tell you at the end of the, I mean, how much physical activity we need in today's world, I'll mention at the end of my talk. And third one, we are missing a lot of, what do you say, a lot of micronutrients these days. Why? Aren't we having vegetables? Aren't we having fruits? Aren't we having dry fruits? We are having all these things, but I guess very rarely. I guess how many of us are eating fruits daily? How many of us are eating daily 2 or 3 times vegetables into our diet? And how many of us are eating a handful of nuts every day? These fruits, vegetables, and dry fruits are a must in our daily diet. Fruits, vegetables, and dry fruits. Why? Because they have a lot of micronutrients. Mostly when people say about nutrition, we think about only carbohydrates, proteins, and fat, right? We are worried how much carbohydrates we have to take. Do we have to take carbohydrates or not? How much protein we have to take? How less fat we have to take. We are more concentrated on the macronutrients, but very few are concentrated about the micronutrients, and those are the nutrients where the magic lies in weight loss and helping you to stay away from all the chronic diseases, I can say. Incorporating good amount of micronutrients in each and every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have to incorporate the micronutrients. So what are the micronutrients? Are nothing but all your vitamins, all your minerals, fiber. So all these together. So where do we find vitamins, minerals, and fiber? Again, fruits, vegetables, and dry fruits. So let me give you an example. So please tell me your normal breakfast. 2 or 3 options of your normal breakfast. I'll tell you whether it is a complete balanced breakfast or not. Regular breakfast option. For me, it is idli, dosa with some chutney. Generally for South Indians, it's oats, porridge with fruit, very good. So banana and eggs, very good. Fruit and fiber overnight, oats, toast, cereal and toast, porridge with soya milk. Yeah. So I guess it's mostly cereal and oats and fruits, right? So yeah, chapati, porridge, barley, roti, cereal, yeah. So toast, very good. Yeah. So mostly oats porridge and one wholemeal bread. So when it's okay, I'll take this oats, overnight soaked oats with some milk and all. So when you take this meal, oats, what does oats consist of? It consists of complex carbohydrates. It consists of good amount of minerals. And when you mix that oats with milk, it is loaded with some amount of protein, calcium, and fat. So we are getting this carbohydrate, protein, calcium, and oats. Oats has some, what do you say, few minerals, iron, some phosphorus, some magnesium, some zinc, very less amount of minerals they do have. And if you combine this oats porridge with good amount of nuts and some fruits, your breakfast will be a complete breakfast. I guess you got my point. So oats porridge with fruits and dry fruits and with some milk contains all the 3 macronutrients and all the minerals. I'll give you another example. Suppose if you're having chapati with aloo curry, right? Chapati with aloo curry. So what is chapati? Chapati contains complex carbohydrate with some amount of fiber. What is aloo curry? Again, aloo is another, potato is another carbohydrate with again a little amount of what do you say, onions, green chilies. So here we are having a carbohydrate breakfast with the carbohydrate chutney or whatever, and with some vegetables. So this meal, again, I can say chapati with aloo curry is an incomplete breakfast. Why? Because we are missing here, we are missing the protein here. Chapati and aloo doesn't have good amount of protein. There is no protein in that, right? So we are missing a protein in a breakfast, and we are missing a lot of fiber also. and some minerals also we are missing. So generally it's very important. Why do we need to, didn't our parents have only roti and curry? Why do we need to have more fiber? Why do we need to have more protein? Again here, because we're not doing that amount of physical activity. We are having a breakfast, we're sitting in front of the computer, we are working, or we're going to the office, we're sitting in our office and we are working, and we don't get up till afternoon, till our next meal, right? So just because we are not working, we are not going to the gym or whatever, we need what we are eating, we need them to work out in our body. So when you take good amount of fiber, or when you take good amount of protein in your each and every meal, they will go inside your body and they will increase your metabolism. They will act as a gym inside your body. So that's very important. Each and every meal has to be included with a complete pack of minerals, fiber, vitamins, protein. Carbohydrate and fat is quite common in Indian families, so I guess I need not mention that. So that was my point, to mention that you guys have to include a lot of micronutrients into your daily diet. So what was the first one? First one was staple diet, homemade food. Second one, concentrate on your proportions of portions of your food in balance with your physical activity. Suppose if you are working out aggressively, if you are having a if you're going for a hike, if you're playing some physical activity, you can take a good amount of food. But if you're sitting at home whole day, the quantity of food has to be reduced. And third one, include a lot of micronutrients in your body. These micronutrients actually help in digestion of your macronutrients. We are having carb, protein and fat, and these vitamins, minerals and all what do you say, these fat, this fiber helps in digestion and breakdown of all your food you eat. We want to eat food, so that why? Because it will supply energy for our cells, and that food has to be digested properly. So for that process we have to do vigorous physical activity, which is not possible in many cases. So we have to take a lot of food which will help in digestion of that food. So indirectly we are taking food to digest our food. I guess you got my point. We have to eat food that will help in digestion of our food. So choosing the right food is very important here. And another important point which will help in maintaining your immunity is, again, people will ask me like, what should I take to improve my immunity? What should I not follow, and all those things. Again, it's very important to see what I mean. There are a lot of patients who unknowingly consume a lot of sugar, added sugar into their diets. Consuming a lot of added sugar also will reduce your immunity. It will change the WBCs. It will create a lot of inflammation. It will create a lot of free radicals. So what are the foods that have added sugar? Any guesses? Which we consume on a day-to-day basis unknowingly. Day-to-day basis unknowingly. Added sugar foods unknowingly. Cereal, juices, fruits. No, fruits are natural sugar. Added sugars which we tend to consume on a day-to-day basis, those are actually the cause of reducing our immunity, which many are not. Biscuits, yes. Packaged juices, yes. We generally think what we have to eat for immunity, but we have to remove a lot of food from our kitchen. Cakes and biscuits, yes. Processed foods, yes. Breads, yes. Breads, not that much. Sauces, yes. Can pack, yes. Can pack. Fizzy drinks, yes. So yeah, we have to remove a lot of foods from our kitchen in order to be in health. I'll tell you one thing. It's been 6 years. I mean, more than 6 years, I guess. I'm a mom for 2 kids. So before 6 years, my kids used to fall ill frequently. I mean, frequently in the sense, year may 4-5 times they used to fall ill. Whenever they fall ill, they used to be ill for 3 or 4 days. So every time my mother or my mother-in-law used to say like, "Kisi ka nazar lag jaye," you do that, you have to remove that nazar and do those things. So I used to follow all that. But my nutrition journey started after my nutrition journey started. I wrote a book on sugar, added sugars, and I've realized that being a working mom, I used to work as a doctor in Nizam's Institute. So being a working mom, I used to have all my fridge used to be filled with packaged juices, this Tropicana real juices, thinking that it was fancy to serve my guests. It was easy for me. It was fancy and it was posh to serve my guests, all those drinks. And jam and bread. I used to feed my kids roti, jam and bread, and sauces for all their French fries and all those things. So my fridge was with chocolates, soft drinks, and all. Being a doctor, also, I didn't know that those were not healthy. And after I started this nutrition journey, I've learned how dangerous and toxic are there for our body. Not even like we are not even supposed to consume them on a occasional basis also. So once I learned that, I've removed everything from my kitchen. It took 2 years for me and my kids to get rid of all those habits. So after the 2 years, touch wood, they rarely fall ill these days. Their immunity has boosted up. Like I'm talking about before COVID times. Before COVID only, like they rarely fall ill. I mean, even if they are in a group of kids, if they play with a group of kids who have any like cold, cough, fever, and all those things, they never used to get any fever or cold or anything. They were perfectly normal. So like yearly once also, I think they don't fall ill. So it's all because I've removed those biscuits, chocolates, and every time we tend to bribe ourselves or our kids with chocolates with it extra. We think that adding an extra teaspoon of sugar, we show our love to our loved ones. Extra sugar we add in our India milk and all those things, we show extra love. I mean, we love them more. But again, the lesser sugar you add, the more you love your loved ones. So I used to remove, I improved the immunity of myself and my family by removing all those added sugar foods. Jams are loaded with sugar. Even Bonvita is loaded with sugar. When you take Bonvita, it has 80% of added sugar in it. Unknowingly, we are feeding ourselves, and those added sugar, they will act inside. They'll go inside our body, and they will actually add as a, what do you say, as a storehouse for a lot of bacteria, fungus, and virus. So whoever tend to consume a lot of sugar over a longer period of time, they are more attacked, and they will host these viruses into their body, and it's very tough for the medicines to push them out. So it's very important, like not only in a particular such pandemics or any time, forever, like it's very important for you guys to make a regular habit, not to consume all these processed and packaged and sugary foods. Even rusk also is fully loaded, sauces, soya sauce, all these things. Anything natural from the environment is fine, but all these we have to remove from our kitchen, which will actually bring a major difference in your health. I can literally say that. Yeah. Any specific questions or dark chocolate?
Dr. Vani, thank you for that. So let me know when you are finished, and then I've got quite a few questions which are coming up, and I can read them out to you.
Yeah. Somebody asked about dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is actually, in my nutrition prescription, I prescribe 2 or 3 cubes of dark chocolate. It should be 70% or 80% above cocoa. I mean, minimum 70% cocoa should be the percentage in a dark chocolate. We do get dark chocolates which are 50%, which has 50% cocoa, especially in India, but it should be 70% cocoa. It's really healthy. It helps in boosting our mood levels. It helps in reducing any blockages in the arteries and all. In fact, this chocolate was used as a medicine in olden days. I mean, in ancient times. And I think in UK it was but in the royal kingdom, they used to give like cocoa drinks and all those things. It was a very royal food. The reason they used to say it was a royal food because it helped them to stay younger. It increased their vitality. It increased their it reduced their aging, and it was like they never came across any diseases. So whenever they say it's a royal food, it's highly helpful for their inner health. So dark chocolate is that healthy, and I do prescribe for a lot of my patients. So I would like to take questions more because I see all of you are quite elder to me and you might be knowing all this. So please ask any question related to food and nutrition.
Thank you, Dr. Vani. So I've got quite a few questions which are coming in. So I'm going to start asking those to you, and maybe you can explain these to the people on the Cool.
Sure.
So a lot of the people attending today are vegetarians or vegans. What are the key things that must be included in a vegetarian or vegan diet so that we can get a balanced meal?
Yeah. So generally, in India, general vegetarians tend to miss out a lot on the protein. I guess many of you might be knowing that we tend to miss a lot on the protein, and we tend to worry that we are not getting enough protein from plant foods. But that is wrong. Plant food, plant foods do have enough amount of protein. You can find a lot of protein in your regular dals, in beans, and even rice with dal is a good. I mean, the amino acids, rice and dal together makes a complete protein. Neither dal separately, neither rice separately is a complete protein. Dal with rice makes a complete protein because both have good amount of amino acids. And again, you might be knowing paneer, tofu has good amount of protein, soya chunks, soya, and mushrooms also has good amount of protein. And these days, chickpeas has been gaining a lot of attention. It has a lot of calcium, iron, good amount of fiber, and good amount of protein also. And this chana dal, peanuts, sesame seeds, so all these are proteins. So vegetarians need not worry that we are not having, we're not getting enough protein. And if anyone has any doubt how much protein do we need for our body, it's exactly like, suppose if you're weighing 70 kgs, you require 60 to 65 kgs of, 60 to 65 grams of protein in your day. So according to your weight, that much amount of protein is essential. And we do get from our regular rice, dal, regular chana, chole curry. Rajma is a great combination with your rice. So that will be sufficient. And learn to add good amount of peanut powder or sesame powder, all these things. So those will add on to your protein content. And beans are also excellent protein with fiber. Generally dal and all these chole and all these proteins are not included with fiber, but again beans, they contain both protein and fiber. So it's better to include proteins in each and beans in each and every meal. I do like this, like just like we add onions and green chilies in each and in a tadka, I add beans also in my tadka because generally kids don't eat beans. So as a regular basis, I add onions, green chili, and little amount of beans in the tadka, so that they'll be getting that protein in each and every their favorite curry. So in that way, proteins they might be missing. And B12, generally vegans have to take B12 supplements because it's very important. Many might be against supplements, but again, vegans, there's been a lot of research been going on that vegans are not getting good amount of, I'm not saying vegetarians, but vegans, because vegetarians do consume milk and yogurt and all those things. Usme curd mein we have good amount of B12. So vegans do have to take a B12 supplement every day, or if you're okay with injections, it can be like weekly ones or prescribed by a physician. So B12 vegans have to take, otherwise they will be getting a lot of neuronal degeneration kind of symptoms. They'll have cold palms, the memory power will be reducing, and many other symptoms. So we might not know it is because of lack of B12, but it's very, very important to take a B12 supplement.
Thank you, Dr. Vani. The next question I have is the use of oil and ghee for cooking. So a lot of the medics and nutritionists say that fat is not good. Given that fat is not good, what are your recommendations on how much we should use? And secondly, what alternatives are there which can be considered?
So ghee is actually good for us, but 1 teaspoon a day, not more than that. I mean, for kids, it can be up to 2 teaspoons a day, but generally, as a generalized rule, 1 teaspoon a day, one teaspoon of ghee is mandatory. Even ghee is, I prescribe in my diet chart, 1 teaspoon of ghee a day is highly essential, especially if it is cow ghee, it will be better. So ghee is loaded with good fats. which is essential for balancing our hormones. These days, many of us are suffering with a lot of, especially generally when somebody says about hormones, many of us think about women hormones, fertility hormones, PCOS and all. But again, diabetes, to balance your diabetes, it's very important to include a teaspoon of ghee into your daily diet. It will help in balancing your insulin hormones. It will help in reducing your stress levels also. How does ghee help in reducing your stress levels? Because it will be it is a kind of food for our brain. It will help in strengthening our nerves. Our brain is full of neurons and everything. So when you take good amount of good fats, good fats, all our nerves are covered with a certain kind of lining, which has to be protected by certain amount of good fat. So when you don't take good fat into your diet, you tend to suffer with a lot of memory issues, lack of concentration, lack of focus, irritability, hormonal imbalances, diabetes, and even a lot of gait changes. Your gait changes frequently. That's because you're not consuming enough good food. You're not giving food to your neurons. The starting, I said, you have to feed each and every cell of your body. So you have to feed your brain nerve cells with good fat. So good fat is that essential, but again, in limited. Whatever fat it is, whatever fat, good fat or bad fat, it is fat. So if you have a very high cholesterol, it's very important to consume, like if you're taking 1 teaspoon of ghee, then avoid all other fatty foods in your diet. Avoid paneer, avoid taking biscuits, avoid taking puri or deep fried foods. It's not that you have to avoid ghee. Generally, people avoid avoid ghee and happily take other foods like cakes, pastries, and all other foods. We happily take them even once a while. So rather than that, take good fats and avoid all other fats in your daily diet. And what was the other one?
So the other question I had was, what alternatives are there which can be considered? And I
Good
guess
fats, yeah, good fats. Other than ghee, we have good fats in nuts, almonds, your cashew nuts, and pistachios. Again, when I say cashew nuts, I guess everyone might think it's full of fat. I've seen a lot of patients totally avoiding dry fruits from their kitchen, thinking that it's loaded with fat and they have heart issues or they have heart disease or something. But limited amount. 4 almonds a day, 2 cashew nuts a day, 10 pistachios a day won't do any harm, and 2 walnuts a day will never do any harm for you. So just 2 cashew nuts,
okay.
because it's loaded with good fat, is very important. And yeah,
Thank you,
even
Dr. Vani.
milk and yogurt is a good example of good fat. Yogurt, dahi, it has probiotics, it has B12, and it's loaded with good fat. So if you're conscious, if anybody is suffering from heart diseases and overweight and obesity, dahi is a good option of having good fat and probiotics.
Thank you. So, Dr. Vani, what's your opinion on intermittent fasting?
Yeah, intermittent fasting is good, but I guess it should be followed on advice of a specialist. Personally, because again, hypothyroid patients are not allowed to do intermittent fasting. The diabetic patients are not allowed to do intermittent fasting. If you don't have any metabolic disorder or chronic disorder, yeah, it is good. But again, not according to Google or social media. You have to try it yourself. It's like you can finish off your meal at 7 o'clock in the night, previous night, and again start your breakfast at 8 o'clock. So 7 to 8 is 11 hours of intermittent fasting. So in that way, you can just slowly increase it. Not just because somebody is doing like 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. Don't just fall for it. Start according to your, suppose if you're having your dinner at 8, do your breakfast. Don't have a cup of tea or coffee. Have your breakfast directly at 8 or 9. Just see till how much time you can you can tolerate your appetite, and then have it. Why is this intermittent fasting good? Is because like we are just keeping our stomach empty. We are giving us, it's a kind of rejuvenation for our digestive system. It's a kind of like sleep. We are sleeping. We just give rest to all our cells and our brain and our mind, right? When we sleep, It's a kind of sleep is a kind of detoxification problem, detoxification process, and intermittent fasting is like it's a kind of rejuvenation for your digestive system. Your it's a kind of cleansing process. You're not it's just like suppose if you take a washing machine, if you keep on putting clothes continuously, what happens? It just breaks down, right? Suppose if you just we just leave it for 2 or 3 days, then again, so it's like that. I mean, we have been continuously pushing on food into our stomach, so it's very important to slowly give it longer gaps, so
Yeah,
that
I
it
guess it's
depends on its
giving the body a rest, I guess.
yeah, giving the gut a rest, so
Okay.
it'll cleanse on its own. And the digestive enzymes which will secrete, digestive enzyme secretes in our digestive system if we eat or if we don't eat, and those digestive enzymes will actually create a kind of heat in our environment, in our inside our gut and in our body, and that heat will be used for burning our stored fat. So generally, when you do intermittent fasting, people who are overweight or obese tend to lose weight faster.
Right. Okay. Got another question for you, Dr. Vani. What is a good diet for somebody who's got thyroid?
Thyroid, again, a balanced meal. There is no, I mean, any metabolic disorder is except for diabetes, any metabolic disorder, be it for arthritis or thyroid, balanced meal is very important. But specifically for thyroid patients should not consume a lot of cold foods. They should be away from cold foods. It's very big. Why? Because hypothyroid is a kind of metabolic disease. Their metabolism is very slow. If they don't take that tablet, it's that slow. If if they're not treated properly, even their heart also doesn't function properly. So that slow their body, the metabolism and their body functions become. So hypothyroid patients should never consume cold foods or storage foods. It's very important for them to have always warm foods. More than eating raw vegetable, even raw vegetables are not advisable for hypothyroid patients. Generally, they tend to be slightly overweight or obese. They might think that eating a bowl of salad will help them to lose weight. But again, for hypothyroid patients, they have to have a warm cup of soup with all the vegetables in them. Whatever they eat, it should be slightly cooked or boiled and warm. So indirectly, the body is slow. Slow means it's a kind of cold environment in the body. So they have to eat in such a way that they create heat inside their body. Foods that will give some warmth, some spices they have to include in their body, whole Indian spices into their all meals, even vegetarian meals or whatever. They have to include spices in each and every meal, so that those spices will go inside and they will increase and improve their metabolism, so that the thyroid gland will be in balance. And they have to take a good amount of variety of vegetables. They should not stick to particular vegetables. They have to include a lot of vegetables to compensate with the mineral loss from their body.
Thank you. The next question I have is, what food would you say, if someone's suffering from arthritis, what food should they avoid?
Avoid.
Yes.
Here again, first I would say you have to avoid sugary foods, because again, these sugary foods, as I say, over a period of time, like years, months, they will add on to your inflammation in between the joints, and they will these high sugary foods will actually deplete the calcium and all the important minerals from your bone. That is the reason even 30 years, 35 years, people are suffering from arthritis, just because they've been binge eating on all these junk food and sugary foods. So all the calcium is depleted from their bones, and it's being inflamed. The joints are highly inflamed, and the stiffness in between their joints is increasing. Even again here, I have my own example. Like when I was 35, 33, when we had a Satyanarayana puja in our home, whenever I never used to be, I could never sit properly for that 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes. Those days, 33 years, 35 years. But now, at the age of 42, now I can sit down. I mostly prefer to sit down, whatever occasion or no occasion or wherever I go. I can sit happily. I used to think like, 33 years, 35 years, I'm unable to sit down properly. I have joint issues. How can I cope up with that and all? But again, when I improved my nutrition, when I removed all those junk foods, my arthritis, I didn't have any arthritis, but I had those symptoms, joint stiffness, unable to get up. Like if we go for a long journey, immediately getting up from the car again, we'll have that some stiffness for some time, right? But now I can easily, like how many hours of long drive, road trip or anything, I can happily go. Just because again I've reduced the inflammatory toxins in my body. Every time I'm cleansing out all the toxins on a day-to-day basis and not allowing any toxins. How does this happen? By eating good amount of fiber and drinking lot of water daily. And so what I've said is, you have to avoid sugary foods, junk foods, processed foods. And there's a lot of notion that people have to avoid potato and all. It depends, like if you're allergic to potato or tuber foods like carrot and all these things, you have, it depends, like it changes from person to person. Generally, theoretically, potato does not cause any arthritis. So, but again, if you have noticed that after eating a particular curry, your joint issues have increased, it's better to avoid, because every body is different. And the substitute for potato is sweet potato. It is fully loaded with minerals and vitamins and a lot of fiber. So again, your inflammatory toxins will be flushed out. So arthritis patients can happily include 1 or 2 sweet potatoes into their daily diet with a sprinkle of pepper and turmeric again. So that will help in increasing their metabolism, and it will flush out all the inflamed portions over there. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Vani. The next question I have is a couple of questions relating to diabetes. So, what foods are good for someone suffering from diabetes? And also, a lot of the fruits have added sugar. Have sugar in it. So, what is your opinion on having fruits as well for diabetics?
So, I would like to ask the same question. What diet generally diabetics take?
Okay.
As a non-medical person, what foods generally diabetics take without the advice of a specialist? Suppose if someone is diagnosed with diabetes, so what foods do you take?
I suppose, obviously people will write their answers on the chat, but I suppose people will try, the first thing they'll try and do is reduce sugar. And, whatever contains sugar, they'll try and avoid that. But then, what my question is that, okay, they may try, whatever you can see with sugar, they'll take it out. But there are fruits which has got sugar in it. And what is your view on that? Does a diabetic patient consume that fruit?
Yeah,
and in
actually,
proportion?
Actually, fruits should be taken by diabetes patients, because as I've mentioned earlier, fruits, vegetables, and dry fruits are a must. And the reason fruits doesn't aggravate your diabetes, the reason that we didn't consume good amount of fruits, all these micronutrients, is the reason we got this diabetes. So it's very important to remove that notion that fruits are dangerous for your health. But again, yes, the fruit should not, if somebody is on insulin, if somebody has a very high HbA1c and all, fruit as such, it should not be consumed alone. Fruit along with few nuts. You can just cut few. How I take is, I'm not a diabetic, but how I take is, I cut few papaya and I add a teaspoon of chia seeds. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking my fruit, which has a lot of good minerals and vitamins, and I'm adding some good fats, chia seeds has a lot of good fats in them. So so that the glycemic index of that fruit will be reduced. So whenever you don't get scared or stay away from this magical food. Actually, fruits, they will actually help you to balance your insulin levels on a long run. So please take fruits, any fruit of your choice, any fruit in between your meals. Don't consume a fruit along with your meals. Don't consume a fruit after, immediately along with breakfast or after lunch or after dinner. It should be taken because breakfast itself has a lot of calories, and fruit, as I've mentioned, has a lot of natural sugar. So this natural sugar and this breakfast will add on a lot of calories, and our body already has a lot of insulin issues and hyperglycemic issues. So both can't go together. So you have to take a fruit in between your meals, in mid-morning, between breakfast and lunch, and along with fruit, combined with few pistachios or combined with 2 cashews. So combine with a protein or with some ghee. I'm sorry, with some fat, good fat. So you can take roasted peanuts with a half apple. So rather than going for red apple, green apple is generally advised for diabetic patients.
Right.
And you should, 2 fruits, you have to be, I mean, a bit cautious if you're suffering from high sugar levels, are pineapple and watermelon, because they have higher glycemic index compared to mango, chiku, and all those other fruits.
Did you
Actually,
say
mango,
pineapple
and watermelon.
watermelon? Okay.
Yeah, I've tend to I mean, I've wrote an article on fruits for diabetic patients long back. So that's when I've realized that pineapple and watermelon generally, they have very high glycemic index. So it's very important, again, just 2 pieces along with some pistachios or almonds or some seeds, watermelon seeds, pumpkin seeds. It's very important to combine them.
What about so you talk about watermelon? What about honeydew melon, the yellow flesh?
Muskmelon. It is also, in if it is very ripe, again it comes under the same category of watermelon.
In your view, is there a particular time of the day that the fruits should be consumed? Somebody told me don't ever consume fruit at night. So what's your opinion on that?
Yes. As I told, in between your meals, I mean, either between breakfast and lunch, in between, like mid-morning, it can be a mid-morning snack or mid-evening snack, but not for normal people. Better not to consume fruit after 8 p.m. But for diabetics, better not consume fruit after 6 p.m. will be better. Like if you want to, if you're taking anti-diabetic medicines and if you want your insulin to be normal, you have to stop taking your fruits after 6 p.m. No fruits after 6 p.m. How much of a healthy a fruit is before 6 p.m., it is that unhealthy after 6 p.m. because it's just because our physical activity tends to reduce. Like after 6 p.m., mentally and physically, we tend to slow down. So again, our digestive system also tends to slow down. And the excess fructose and excess sugar in the fruit cannot be metabolized easily after 6 p.m. So that's the reason we are not advised to take fruits in the night.
Okay.
And no fruit juices, as you might be knowing, for diabetics.
Yeah. Perfect. So my question to you is, what's your opinion, or what do you think about having dairy milk compared to plant-based milk? So either soya milk or almond milk or coconut milk or oat milk. Your view on what's better?
I mean, if you're a vegan, obviously plant-based milk is the only option. But again, I feel, there's nothing, with all the hype that dairy milk, according to it's my personal opinion and all the research that I have done and all, dairy milk is not that bad. If you're able to get the right product and right company with lesser impurities and all, dairy milk won't do any harm unless and until you're lactose intolerant. It is harmful for people who are lactose intolerant. In westernized diets, in westernized areas, people were lactose intolerant there. So they started promoting all this soy milk, almond milk and all. But we Indians are happily have been growing up having milk and I mean, even now a glass of milk with turmeric and all, if you can swap your dinner with a glass of milk with a pinch of turmeric and other I mean saffron and all, that will actually cleanse your gut, and it will help in detoxifying your body. Like once a while you can have a glass of milk. It should, and again there should be a gap of 2 hours between having milk and your sleep. Again here, however, similar to fruits, I mean, I've had a lot of patients who say that they have a glass of milk at night before sleep. Even for their children, they give a glass of milk before sleep. So that's when this dairy milk is dangerous, because dairy again is full of fat, and it attracts microorganisms in our body. So when you have a glass of milk before going to sleep, it's not properly digested and it gets stuck in your gut and everywhere, and again it attracts a lot of microorganisms in your body. So that's when they lose your immunity and they're more prone to sinusitis and all those things. So generally, people who suffer from respiratory infections, they say to avoid dairy products. But again, if you consume them in the right way, by adding some turmeric or boiling them properly, and having them warm rather than I mean, people have been having cold coffee and mixing milk in their curries and all, which is all not at all advised. We have to have milk in a warm form, and before, again, not immediately before sleep. So dairy milk is not a bad option according to me, and vegans don't have another option. So plant-based milks are advised, and they're not I mean, there's no harm in having them.
I've got 3 questions. There's lots of questions, but I'm going to kind of pick on another 3-4 questions before we finish, because I would like to finish in about 10-15 minutes. So one of the questions that I have here is, now COVID has changed our lives completely. As we know, since last year, when we had this pandemic, it has changed our lives. We've all undergone a very stressful period. What sort of things can people be doing to keep their mind and body at peace, to help manage stress?
1 second.
It's more about managing stress during this COVID times. You know, it's kind of had an effect on everybody.
Yes.
From in your view, what's your take on what people can do to manage the stress?
So can I mean, it's been 1 year. So can I get some answers, like what people have done?
I guess over here, a lot of people have done quite a few different things. Well, I would like to know from people on the to put down on the chat what you've been doing. I think there have been lots of different things people have been working on during this stressful period. So yeah, it will be useful to know what people have been doing.
Yoga, meditation, breathing exercises, laughter yoga, mindfulness yoga, meditation, spiritual learning on Zoom, yoga, walking, meditation, Zoom program, Zoom workouts, running, going for walks, vegan, very good, inner peace, positive thinking, Pilates. Yeah. Even I have done meditation. I've learned meditation, actually. In fact, I didn't do earlier, but it really helped me a lot. I mean, getting a better perspective of life, it helped me to stay calm. According to me, I feel it's, I mean, I don't know if I am that that experience to guide you guys, but yeah, it's very important to stay in the moment, because I've seen a lot of my relatives or my parents and everyone, they've been continuously watching the news and scrolling like what's happening everywhere and all. So it's very important to consume just at least consume only at least only 10%, and remaining 90%, it's important to stay in the moment, because if anything major is there, at least somebody will inform us over a call, or because we have I mean, Indians, we are big family. So someone or the other will inform us. So it's, I've seen people like switching on the TVs and sitting even earlier days, like my son used to sit with my husband and he used to panic a lot. He was only 10 years and he used to panic a lot. My husband just went out. I mean, last year, March, he just went out. He's also a doctor. So he was out and my son was like, Mommy, you should call daddy. He should not be out. He was watching a BBC news channel and so it's just consume 10% what is needed, know the trends, what's happening around you, and remaining 90% do your, I mean, regular stuff, what we have to do, just being in the moment and taking care of your loved ones. And I think this is even thinking back, like what you have achieved till now, what we can do better, how to improve our lives. Just write down what gives you happiness, what gives you sad, just analyzing your life. It's very important. Like, I think I took it in a very positive manner. I should not say that, but see the other side of the coin. We all were together with family, at least where in India, we don't have that family and career balance. So we all were together at home and kids, at least that togetherness time. So see the other side. For every situation, there's another side of the coin. So, you might be missing your children, you might be missing traveling, or we might be missing our parents and all. But every time what we do, we get a holiday, we keep ourselves busy traveling here, there, going, eating, coming, seeing, that's all. But now we had time, even during a holiday, even if it's Christmas, even if it's any Hindu festival or whatever, we had time to stay in our own home. So what better can you do in your home? Every time we lock our door, we'll go there, or we'll arrange everything. Someone will come, we'll cook, we'll be so busy. But this time it's very, improve yourself where you are rather than.
Absolutely. It is important because I think it has given everyone a chance to look at their own lives in a little bit more detail. Otherwise, we were just going, running around doing this, that, and the other, and really not focusing on ourselves. And I think this has really helped us and helped to look at our lives in a very different way as well. So, and yoga.
We all learned about, as I've seen a lot of yoga, meditation, and all. If without this situation, I guess no one would have, majority would not have thought about yoga, meditation, and all, unless and until like they've retired or anything. Because these is even everyone, irrespective of age, gender, or wherever they are, everyone are into mindfulness and all these things. It's very important. I was doing all these even before COVID, because it really helped me. Not meditation, but I was into mindfulness. I was learning to read about my mind, read about my body, what my body signals me. Because again, nutrition, health, both are interlinked. I wanted to mention you, like you have to observe. People might be in a confusion state when they have to go to a nutritionist or a doctor. No, it need not be a nutritionist. People just go to doctors when they have an illness. But everyone should develop a mindset that you should go to a doctor or a nutritionist in a prevention mode. Suppose if your energy levels are low, if you are unable to sleep well, or if your bowel movements are disturbed, it's not only you visit a hospital or a clinic when you have a fever or thyroid or diabetes or heart disease or arthritis. By the time you visit the doctor, more than 50% of your organs will be damaged and irreversible. Being a doctor and a nutritionist, what I wanted to tell every patient, whoever patient comes to me, or general public also, like whoever visits me or not visit me, by the time any patient visits a doctor, your organs will be damaged more than 50%, which cannot be reversed with diet and changes in your lifestyle. You have to keep on taking medications, and those medications will add on a lot of other complications in your body. But you have to listen to your body. Like even if it's pandemic or no lockdown or any time, like even in future also, take one day off, at least 2 hours off from your everyday or weekly once. If you're a very busy person, just sit that day and think about, like, how is your energy levels? Are you able to sleep properly? Are you able to I mean, are you experiencing frequent micturition, or are you experiencing cold? Are you not able to climb stairs properly? Are you not able to sit properly? So all these, just think over, and just, even you need not visit someone. You can just Google and do something, and improve your nutrition. It's as simple as that. Stay away from diseases and improve. Like, what you might be not including a lot of protein. So that's the reason you might not have been having good amount of energy. Or if you're not sleeping, means you can just start meditation or yoga if you're unable to sleep. Your adrenals might be stressed. So just listen to your body. If it is pandemic or not pandemic, just take an hour off from every responsibility, from family, from every responsibility. Only you. Unless and until you take care of yourself, you cannot take care of your loved ones.
Absolutely. Good answer. Briefly, Dr. Vani, in the UK, statistics show that 22% of the Indian community have refused to taking the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. What's your take on that from a medical point of view?
Yeah, I mean, though I'm not a immunologist or a physician, I guess an immunologist will be the best person to answer. But I've just, what do you say? My opinion is like, if you're bold enough and if you're confident, only go for the vaccine. If you have any secondary doubts, any fear, no vaccine or no medicine will help your cells. As I've mentioned, our body is made of cells. If you're, I mean, even your brain is full of cells, and here white blood cells, everything is cells. So if few of your cells say no, it's like a family. Like, we have a family of cells in our body. Suppose if if four of us in a house, suppose if a stranger is coming into a house, if one person is saying no and closing the door, we cannot allow them enter our house peacefully, right? Like, they cannot stay peacefully in our house. Like, if some stranger or some person comes, and one of your family member doesn't like them, they'll go into their room and lock themselves. Obviously the stranger will feel weird and awkward, and they cannot sustain properly in your house. Similarly, if few of your cells in your body, if you are filled with fear, if you are stressful, if you thinking about the complications, what might happen, if you have that inclined more, I mean, those thoughts more, then don't go for the vaccine. Just go with the precautions.
Although I actually would differ, in my opinion would completely differ to yours, because I would encourage everyone to have the vaccine, because, to be honest, by every person having the vaccine, they are actually saving lives. By a person not having the vaccine, they are spreading to somebody else. So my view is different to that. But
no, that
we
is
can
absolutely correct.
agree to differ. Absolutely.
No, that is absolutely correct.
What the last question I will ask you is, what is the name of your book?
It is Sugar. It was like 5 years back. So it was very immature when I wrote it, but the content is really good. It actually helped me change myself and my family and my extended family. The earlier days are like, I used to listen to my mom-in-law and all, but these days she asked me for, like, we exchange ideas. I mean, she asked me what to eat and all. So
if you got a PDF version of it, or
yeah,
then
I have.
I would love to have that, and I can share it with all the people who are on the call. So that would be really good.
Yeah, I would share my this sugar book, and I have another book recently during lockdown. I guess many of you might have heard about Luke Coutinho. He's a celebrity nutritionist in India. He also wrote a book during this COVID times, an ebook with Shilpa Shetty himself and a lot of other doctor cum nutritionists. We all gave our a few chapters also for that book. We have contributed for that book for all the people of, for everyone around the world. So just to improve our immunity during these COVID times. So I'll share that.
If you can share that, and I'll share it with all the people.
Yeah, I guess all the questions which you have asked are in that book, I guess. So it will be very useful that ebook will help you a lot. So I'll share that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Dr. Vani, I think we are running out of time now. It was great to have you and talk to all the people about nutrition, about immunity, and a number of other topics that we had touched upon. Shame that we don't have more time, because there are so many more questions which I would have liked to ask you, and which our people attending the Zoom call would have liked to ask you as well. Unfortunately, time is limited.
I just wanted to answer one question. I'm sorry to interrupt. Somebody asked, are artificial sweeteners good? Because this is a very important point.
Yes.
I wanted to answer. Artificial sweeteners are strictly no, 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 no. Don't go for it. Even if you're diabetic, please have sugar. 4 teaspoons of sugar in a day won't harm you. And when sugar mixed in milk, obviously you're reducing the glycemic index. You're not eating a teaspoon of sugar, right? So, I mean, if you're used to have 2 teaspoons, make it 1 teaspoon. So artificial sweeteners are filled with oligosaccharides. They will increase your bowel movements, and they are harmful for your kidneys. So there are a lot of research studies where artificial sweeteners on long run will make you land in kidney failure. So strict no for artificial sweetness. Anyone.
Perfect.
Stevia is good, but.
Okay, thank you. That was a very informative discussion that we had, the informative topic that we touched upon. Thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you especially to Dr. Srinivas. And that's the end of this session. There will be quite a few other sessions coming up.
I just wanted to say again, I'm sorry, but I didn't want to prepare and give this talk, because again, it'll be a kind of lecture. I just wanted to speak casually because people will relate more. I wanted to have more questions. I think we'll have another session maybe next month or so, if everyone is okay, because I don't like lecturing anyone, even if it's kids, or I go for lectures, but I don't like to prepare PPT and give a lecture because we have been learning all these years, and I like it to be an interactive session mostly. So that's the reason, like starting and all, it was like blah, blah, blah. I don't know, like I could convey anything helpful for you guys, but thank you so much for having me.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Srinivas. And thank you to everyone for joining today. Watch out for a few more topics that will be coming up in the next few months. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.